Hi, I'm Jackie and welcome to Squid. And today in this video, what we're doing is, as you see, I have already started just a little bit because I have two sketches on the left side. Yep, that's the left. Yeah, left. Oh my god. But I have already started sketching a little bit on this right side. I have a basic form of body down and I have the two sketches I've already done. So essentially what happened in this was I kind of had a dream. And I didn't really remember the dream, but I actually remembered one of the characters. And one of the characters was this, like, male detective. Well, actually, no, this was one of the dreams I remembered a lot of. But I remembered a lot of this dream. It was kind of in the, a different variant of our world where there's a lot of witches and that sort of thing. And there was this male detective character in it. And I had kind of wanted to draw him like that I sort of remembered and turn him into a character. Of course, my pet bird Gus is here. I'm sure you can hear him. So that's kind of what he did. I kind of cooked from what I, like, remembered about the dream and everything, and I sort of just made the character that I saw within this dream. And I made some slight changes to him as I drew him. So as you see, I kind of saw, like, you know, this like button-down sort of shirt that was like rolled up. He had like these suspenders, a belt, some basic jeans, and like a tie. So at some points I kind of experimented with it being stripy and whatnot. I get one of the sketches early on I had given him glasses. That was like on one of the ones before, but then I decided I didn't like that. So, and he had like this ponytail deal and everything. So that's kind of what I saw, like, vaguely in my head. And then sort of I just kind of like drew that a couple times, went away it a little bit. And this sketch right here, I didn't really love, which is weird. So I'm feeling sorry I drew like pretty immediately after the other two. And I had like the other two just fine. But this one I don't know, the pose is a little weird. I didn't like the face. I remember I was really struggling with the face, which is why his eyes are closed right here, but so it's like, I don't know what it was. I just didn't really love the face about this guy. And I remember I had this idea for like him to have like this little flower tattoo going up like his forearm. So you kind of see that I drew that in. I draw like a little bit of a bigger sort of version and a little couple minutes here somewhere along those lines. After I finished sketching his shoes, which I really gotta practice drawing my shoes. I'm not the best at shoes. Like, my feet always, the feet shoe area looks fine. But I always think they're a little small. And sometimes the proportions are a little weird. And sometimes perspective is a little funny. So I should really try practice drawing those more. Maybe that'll be a different video for the future. But here I am, I kind of drawing like a bigger version of like what I think his tattoo should look like. I thought his tattoo should sort of just be like this like a flowy, sort of curvy flower. Alright, so I thought that would like kind of look nice on the forearm like that. I thought like the front would be like, you know, darker than like the back to just define it a little bit. Show that, you know, the back ones on the back are like the inside of the flower versus the outside that's on the front. So that's just kind of what I did there. And I kind of added a little bit more detail. But I'm trying not to do too much. I don't want to be like a very simple sort of tattoo, but I just wanted to be like some lines and some tone variation. After doing that, I kind of draw in like the details on his belt. Like a holster and like his badge. Just said he's a detective, so I drew those in. So just kind of like, you know, blot them out essentially. So and like I just had like a simple badge shape and a simple like holster-ish shape with no weapon in it, because you know I'm fairly on YouTube doesn't like that. So then I just sort of draw like what I think like a simple version of like the badge would kind of look like. So I could kind of just like, this isn't what I assume it would actually really look like. It was just a simplified version of it. Would just be like this little sort of square with a angled top and a little star in it. And then I also decided that I would kind of just draw like a little illustration that I could color in. So I draw this little tiny thumbnail of him like holding a book or file. I think it was a book. Something like that. Just standing there or looking to a different direction. Doing his thing. So I just like thumbnailed that. I'm using this Universal Mixed Media pad. It's tiny and cute. I just sort of start off with a head and everything. I kind of trying to reference that sketch on the very left. So it was one of my favorites I had done of him so far. Or since, you know, I only did it for free. This one still is a little weird looking, I would say, but still, it's probably the best I've done so far within this video. So, I just tried to sort of do that head shape, draw it in, but this sketch, it's not right. And you can already see that it's not right. I can tell, so I keep adjusting stuff on the face, keep adjusting face shape, and I can see here that, like, I think his shoulders are a bit too high up, and he's already looking a bit stiff, right? So, like, and the proportions just aren't exactly there. I know there's not a lot sketched in here, but, you know, it's just something's off already. You know what I mean? Like, you just sort of tell. So I kind of just, like, sort of sketched it in and tried to add in a book, add this perspective. The book's really small. I always have this issue where, like, objects sometimes are really small as I draw the hands smaller than what they should be. So I always have that issue, even if I'm using a rough, for instance, like the hands or object or whatnot will always end up smaller. So I decided I hated it. Completely hated it. So I flipped the paper over. Like, you know, when you're young, you don't like your drawing, so you just flip it over and draw on the other side like that. And I sort of just started, like, sketching. I tried to be a little looser, which helped a little, but not that much, because I hated that one too. Erased it completely. And I tried again. So I sort of just, like, I just tried once again. Face, pose. I'm trying for the same pose. So I like the idea of this pose. It's just not happening. You know what I mean? And I even had a reference and everything. And it's not working. Like, I don't know what's not working here, but something's not working. Yeah, if it is, it's probably just my brain's not working. That's probably just the issue here. But, you know, nevertheless, I still attempt. And I've like, yeah, this is almost it. This is kind of getting there, right? And so I start detailing things in. But, like, even throughout this whole process, like, it's not terrible. The drawing itself is not terrible. It's just not great. I think most of this comes from the face shape. You know, I don't like the face shape. The body's fine. It's not, like, the greatest body or pose I've ever drawn, but it's fine. You know, it's not the stiffest thing in the world. But it's not, like, anything like that. It's just, I just don't love it for some reason. And even when I was drawing it, I just didn't love it. You know, I drew in the face. He's switching and my hand kind of covered up completely. And I didn't like the face either on this one. I was just having a rough time with this design, you know? I was having a rough art day here. Because I kind of knew what I wanted. And I was able to draw at some point, but then, like, it wasn't happening. So I line arted it anyway. So I was like, no, maybe it'll just be okay. You know? And I have no idea where the footage of the line art went. That's just gone somewhere. I don't know where. And so I'm just gonna color him in. And the sketch one I like the best this day was this Crayola marker. And actually I still quite like this. It looks pretty good. You know, it looks pretty dang good. So I used this and I got a skin tone base in. And it actually looks really nice on this paper. This Crayola marker. I liked it. This was from the Colors of the World set. Love it. Then inside I'm coloring his hair. I think this is a really dark brown from what it looks like. This is a Hoo-Hoo marker I'm posting. This is from the Skin Tone set. I'm sorry, this video was recorded a little while ago, so I don't exactly remember the colors I used. I apologize. This is a Prismacolor Premier marker. This is in one of the cool grays. I decided to use that for his pants. So I color that entire thing in, trying to use the chisel and the little fine tip. There is no brush tip on these ones. It's a little sad, but you know what? It kind of has the chisel and fine. Kind of does everything you need. I decided coloring his, like, suspender things with that same color. I color in the book like this sort of creamy color, so it won't just be pure whites. I thought that might make it look a little older and nice, which it does. Then I added in like a little bit of color to his tattoo, like a nice light gray. Then I add in some little stripage to his tie, and then I add in a light gray for shading on his shirt. And that's almost entirely drawn. But by the time I finished with this, I was like, wow. I don't really like it. Like, again, I think this is mainly the face. Like, I think the pose and whatever and the body looks fine, but the face is just, it's wrong. It's too low and whatever. You know, it's just not right. But for the blush on him, since I actually used water-based Crayola marker, I just added in, like, alcohol marker on top a little bit. And I lifted it up with the Colorless Blender, which actually worked a lot better than I thought it would. And also, I'm kind of surprised I just like went right in on that on the face. That could have gone so wrong. But you know what? It looks fine. And so, you know, just had some shading to pants and whatnot. And, you know, like, I was like, wow. I said, I just wasn't feeling it. I had shading. And it's just the face. I said, like, the body seems okay. But I was not loving it. So, after I finished everything all up, shaded, put another layer on the pants, try to make it be less streaky and whatnot. I think it was the next day. Nope, never mind. Wait, we're still doing stuff. Still adding shading. Hold on a second here. I'm getting ahead of myself. Oopsies. I added some little highlights, adjusted little spots I went over, signed it. And then I was just like, wow. So I drew a little more the next day. A couple more sketches that I liked. Super loose. I did one with pen. I did one with pencil. I did a couple more in pencil. I was like, I'm unhappy with this. I'm going to draw them a couple more times. I'm going to do another big, like a little drawing for the video. I was like, I'm just gonna like let myself do whatever with the design off camera for a little bit, just see if that helps. Which, I mean, I guess it did, but I was just having like a hard time when I hit the record. It's like, this is alright. Like, this is not it. The body's too small. The head's too close to the shoulders. Like, it's not. This is like, I'm already like meh sort of deal. And I was having a really hard time telling this sort of I was having a hard time telling that it was really stiff, I think was the issue. I was just having issues recognizing it and not being able to see what the issue is at this point in time. I couldn't identify what the problem was with the drawing until I had already finished it. And now looking back on it, I can definitely see all the problems with these drawings. And I can tell how I could fix them. It's them right this very second. But at this point in time, I was just having issues seeing these problems as I was creating the art. And so then I wasn't able to fix them until I had finished a piece that I was unhappy with. But I think that's kind of a good thing, because I learned a lot from these sort of sketches. I understand I didn't like them very much. I didn't like this one very much either. It's already having the same issues the other one did. And so now, but looking back on it now, I feel this shows some growth in my artistic journey, as you would say. And because I can tell how I could have fixed them. You know, I can see that now. But this one, I was much happier with the face on this one. I changed up the outfit a little bit. I gave him a short sleeve shirt, right down a long sleeve shirt. And I gave him some big hoop earrings. So I thought that would be cool. It really makes me think of a detective, sort of. So, oh, I whacked my mic. My bad. And this one doesn't look very bad at all. You know, it doesn't look bad. Like, there's a little proportional problems. Like, I think his shoulders are a little big and his head's a little close to his neck. But it's not horrible. But I don't really love the colors of this one. Like, I don't love the skin tone. You know? And I can't tell if this is just the camera. Or if this was just, you know. or if it's just a color. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm having a hard time seeing that, but I don't love the skin tone. I like this little blushy tone. This is a cute tone, though, for the blush. And I use it for shading as well. I blend it all out. I do all that stuff. And I go through, I make his pants. I make them this, like, brown color this time. A very dark brown. This is why I made his hair the time prior to this, but... So that's what I did. I think his legs get a little small here, and I think that's part of the issue too, is that his legs are a little small proportionally to the top of him. So, I make his, once I'm making his like little suspender things the same color as his pants. It's actually like that. I'm making his top this purple color. And once again, this is just, I'm not loving these colors. I'm not, you know? So, just like I said, there's a couple of issues with this post. It's not horrible by any means. But I don't love the colors I chose for this one. And so I just made his hair this dark black color, add some yellow stripes to his tie. And I added in a little bit of shading once again. And these are the two pieces I did side by side. And I didn't like either of them. So like a little while later, like a couple, like 2 weeks later I think, I was like, I'm unhappy with the way I ended this video. So I'm just gonna draw another one. So I pulled out my Strathmore marker paper, and I started drawing him again. So I was like, no, I'm not going to end the video with like 2 drawings I don't like. So I'm just going to give myself a little bit of time to sketch and do whatnot, make an other video or whatever. And so that way I could create a piece of art that I am happy with to end on this video on a good note. And that's exactly what I did. This is the only drawing of him that I did in this recording that I liked. Because all the other drawings I liked of him, I did off camera. But this is the one drawing I did that I like. So I sketched in his little body, which I did like... I was still having a hard time here. So I sketched in the body like 7 times. I'm not going to show y'all every single time I did that. But sketched in his body like 7 times. I made his arms like crossing sort of. And I think it's looking so much better already, you know? I like made him like leaning on his legs a little bit to the one side. And his arms are crossed. He's hooking just like into the same direction as his body is. You know, well, so then like I made the one leg pointing towards the camera and well the other one's like towards the side. And I picked it up to take it to my eye level to try to see if everything looks right. Now his legs might be a little long, I'm gonna be honest. I always have that habit of drawing the legs really long, but other than that, I think it looks much better. So I color drew in his face and hair and whatnot. I changed up the way his face looks a little bit, actually. And I think it looks a lot nicer now. Unfortunately, my fat hand covered the entirety of, like, the drawing his face and hair and whatnot, so I'm sorry. But I kept a lot of things. His shirt's still the same sort of short sleeve shirt. I kept the little cute suspender things. I kept the ponytail. I kept the hoops. You know, I kept the little... He has this little mole on his face that I've kept, so I like that. I gave him a stripey tie. That word almost did not come to me. I did move his tattoo up to his arm so it would be easier to... I don't know why I thought it would be easier to see. I think I just forgot where it was. No, I think that's actually true. I can't really remember why I chose that, but... And I gave him... I think that's a watch on his arm. I just gave him the simple jeans and then his little belt with stuff. And this time I picked up some more Prismacolor Premier markers that I had. Except for I have these couple skin tones that I got. So I used those on him. And this is a much nicer skin tone for him. I like this a lot better than the other ones. It's a little more yellow. But I think at this time this is what I was going for. So, well, I liked this skin tone. It was the better out of the other two. But this one, I liked this one so much more. This was the winning skin tone for me. I love this one. It looks great on them. It looks absolutely fantastic. So I just colored his entire skin in with that one over top of the other one. And I think I just layered this one up for the blushes. I gave him some classic blue jeans. Just like did a nice layer of that. And I believe I actually went over these once I was done showing these. Wow, his legs are long. Oh my god. Yeah, his legs are a little long. Oops, that's fine. But I went over them with this gray color I had. And this gray color is dying on me. It's dying on me. And it's very sad. Because this is one of my favorite grays to use. I don't mind who said. But I used it. Went over it. And then I went over back again with the blue. So now it's sort of be dulled out. But not exactly gray. Then I believe this is a brown color. I know it looks pink on the cap, but I have one in the skin tone set that is brown but looks very pink. So I used that on his belt and his little suspendery guys in his holster. Then I colored in his eyes brown. And look at his eyes. They're so pretty. Brown eyes are really pretty. I like brown eyes. And then I gave him like this little salmon tie. And I made his shoes match the little same salmon color. And finally I went in with my tiny little Posca pen, added some highlights and whatnot, and I signed my name. And with that, we are done. And I'll be seeing y'all next time. Bye!